is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody.
We made it.
Feeling good? Look at, you hear that?
Yes.
Somebody's ready for a holiday weekend. Everybody in here. I am too. Let's just get to it.
Let's get it.
TikTok.
Go.
All right, here we go. Some celebrities are getting honest about aging. First, SJP, Sarah Jessica Parker, who is 58, talked about it if she would go under the knife on the Howard Stern show. Let's watch.
You don't do a facelift, Botox, all this other.
I think about all of it. I'm like, I ask people all the time, like, is it too late? Like, is it like now people be like, well, you don't know, not only look rested, you look like an entirely different human being.
Did you?
I missed out on the facelift. Like, that be to me, like the thing, like an old-fashioned good one.
You look
that you
so
have
good.
when you're like 44.
You think you should have done it?
44. I've heard stories.
Are we? What's going on here? We've focused a lot about women aging in Hollywood. Is it
44? That's me next year.
I'm 45.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but I'm like, whoa.
I'm 42, so I'm like, is this something that I should be thinking about? Like,
Is it something you've thought about?
No.
Well, I mean, people on camera think about that. I'm assuming. She clearly has.
Facelift.
Well,
I mean,
you
I
reacted to
understand
44.
a little.
Were you saying that's
You
too young?
look shocked.
44 to me, maybe this is just, I don't feel like I'm old enough to get a facelift.
No.
So that to me was a number I did not expect. 64 if you want to do it, but 44 to me still seems really young and tight and...
Young and tight.
But her whole aesthetic was, she was saying, I feel like I missed the boat. Do you, the age she is now, do you think now is when most people get them?
I will say this, and Eric could chime in. Anytime that I've talked to on different television shows and we've had on cosmetic surgeons or estheticians, they'll say, the younger you start with little things here and there, it'll be a lot more natural looking and easier to maintain a youthful appearance.
Right.
So I get what she's going for, but Erica, at 44, a facelift?
44 Facebook facelift seems egregious.
Right.
Especially in this day and age, because when you're thinking about how there used to be a time when like 16, 18-year-old kids would be like, oh, I saved up $100 or $200, and they would spend it on like maybe a purse, or they would spend it on, like going out with their friends. Now they're spending it on face stuff, like making sure that their skin is, getting rid of acne, like things like that.
I'm currently living that.
Yeah, the demographic is so much younger. That used to be something that women in their 40s were thinking about doing. But I'll tell you this, because I work very closely with my esthetician, and we actually have a collaboration out. We have a skin kit. That's right, 4-piece system.
Where do they get it, Erica?
You can go to my Instagram, as long as we're here.
Yep.
But I remember going in like 7 years ago, and I had this line that, like a laugh or like, facial
One of
expression
these?
line. Yeah, but it was like,
For example?
it was a very fine line that was there when it was my face was resting. And she's like, I don't want to give you Botox because I think we can get to it, and we use lasers, and I haven't had Botox, and I'm 42. So it's like, if you can do things preventative, then you can kind of get ahead of some of these other things.
What do you think about the misogyny of it, to her point?
I don't know. I was going to say 58 is the average age of a facelift. To your point.
58. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me.
Well, let's get to this story, but I have some thoughts.
Let's just keep going. It's Friday. Let's just get through this, okay? Christie Brinkley, who is 68, posted a selfie on Instagram and took on the haters. So in the post, she said the so-called wrinkle brigade has been out in full force, criticizing her appearance in the comments section. She also clarified that those are wrinkles on her chest and not hair. And she went on to discuss how everybody comes for celebrities specifically and kind of picks them apart in their Instagram posts. But here's the thing. She's 69. She looks fantastic. Maybe more than 99% of 69-year-olds look, or whatever she is. It's like, there are wrinkles. Things happen when you get older. Instead of like fighting those people who just want attention in the first place, accept how beautiful you look and maybe don't like fight back about it, right?
Yeah, but I think it's easier said than done.
You're right, because I have problems with that too.
Especially
But it's
if
like
you're a supermodel and people see you specifically for your aesthetic, and they do. Christie Brinkley, they see her specifically for that. And so I feel for her. If you go on any of her posts, she will see people nitpick and comment. And kudos to her, whether or not she internalizes it or not. It seems like that she's been able to rise above it. But I wish that we would just have this. And I'm guilty of this because I get Botox. I wish we would just somehow embrace and love aging skin.
Yeah, but I don't know.
How do we get there? Do you think we will ever get there?
I don't. I think honestly, because I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of somebody that would go on to Christie Brinkley's page.
I can tell you who they are, but go on.
I think that she represents to whoever is still doing this from the time that she was considered one of the most beautiful people alive to right now. She represents in their eyes everything that they're not, and the feelings that they always wanted. That when they walked in a room, all eyes were on them, and so they have been waiting for years to slowly attack this person that has represented. It's not about Christie Brinkley. It's about the way our society deems what is attractive, and whatever it is, they don't feel like they fit in those parameters. So unfortunately, she becomes the target of all those feelings.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It's lick back season for everyone who felt inadequate based on her being on the cover of a magazine that was in their home or their boyfriend was looking at, or it set some precedent for what a beauty standard should be. And I think what's so great about our society right now is the diversity of beauty standards. And if people weren't so quick to judge someone for how they look now versus how they looked 20 years ago, then maybe you could be a part of that evolution of beauty standards, and as opposed to keeping your mind stuck in the past 20 years ago when you were sad that your boyfriend was like, Christie Brinkley's hot, and have a photo on his wall, and he didn't have any pictures of you on his wall.
But I think it's hard for people to get there. I think it's easier said than done. But what if, no matter how beauty standards evolve, you don't fit in any of them? And I think it's very hard.
But that's the point of where we are today. It's not about fitting into a beauty standard. It's about the diversity of beauty standards, which means that there is untapped beauty everywhere. We are understanding that there is no fitting in. That is an antiquated idea. That's why I'm saying if people could evolve with the times, they would realize that they're actually excluding themselves.
Wow.
Do you feel like they have insecurities in themselves and they kind of see those in someone they looked up to at one time and they kind of put their insecurities onto that person?
That's exactly what we're talking about.
I hear you. I was with you all the way. You threw me out. What'd you say? It's lit back season?
No.
Lick back season? Like if you say something to me and then like you say something like to make fun of me, then I say something to make fun of you.
It's called lick back season?
Yeah, I'm going to get my lick back. Like,
dude, I'm using that over the break.
I didn't know what that was
I'm going to be at the pool and then everyone's going to be talking to me like, it's lick back season, Todd.
When she said that to you, Jeff's face, I hope that we can find, hopefully we have it on camera, your face when she said that, you could just see like the dad processing of like, is that a new term? What is
I was picking up what she was saying like throughout, but I kept thinking, I'm like, did she say lit or lick?
Lick. It's like when you take a licking, but you keep on ticking.
Oh.
Like lick, like, yeah.
Little. All right, somebody at the pool's getting it this weekend. All right, so American Idol launched Kelly Clarkson's career. We all know that. Kelly Clarkson. But that doesn't mean she's still a fan of the show. Here's how she responded when Andy Cohen asked her if she knew any of the recent winners. Let's watch.
Can you name an American Idol winner from the last 5 years?
In fairness, I don't. Oh man. Okay. Huh. No. I got one. No. Am I No.
Okay.
No, I don't have one.
I couldn't either, to be honest with you.
I can't either. What happened to American Idol? But why do you think she didn't? I don't know. Jeff, I thought you watched American Idol.
I did, but I kind of fall off. I watch the beginning and hear their stories and like it, and then kind of I fall off towards the end. You know what I mean? I never really find out who wins.
Yeah, I always wonder if it's because we have more distractions now. Do you remember like following people or during the early years of American Idol, and people
voted for Kelly.
People would be voting and talking about it, and I think
maybe just out-aged it. Does that still happen?
Just like anything else, there's more competition. competition, more things looking for your eyeballs. Now there's, people are looking at YouTube beauty vloggers and following. Right. Look how big soccer has gotten. There's so many new things that are out there. It used to just be American Idol and that was it. And now people have different interests. And I think the model of American Idol is just asking too much of people's time. I don't think it's possible.
I'm curious. Do you know the last 5 winners of Big Brother? And
good question.
I'm a fan now still. So me and my wife watch Big Brother. So the last person who won was a girl named Taylor, first African woman who ever won in Big Brother history. So there you go. That was the last winner.
That was big.
If you didn't know that,
African?
would you?
African American.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Sorry,
Did I not say that?
No, I don't mean.
See, I'm trying to be nice and I'm still canceled.
No.
Yeah.
No, because this is the only person I can think of. Like, should Kelly Clarkson, should Jeff Schroeder, Jordan, who won Big Brother, should you always keep up with them because of the platform it gave you? You don't think so?
I get you always got to know where you come from, right? For Kelly Clarkson, I would, if I were going on a show, maybe have my publicist, and I don't have a publicist, be like, who won the last couple seasons, so I could spit it out a little bit.
No, because the whole point of Watch What Happens Live is it's a gotcha moment. So I don't think that was even something that was at the forefront of her thoughts. She probably thought she was going to talk about housewives the whole time.
That's true, but I don't know. I would still have it like, no matter where I go from here, I'd always be like, oh, is Big Brother still going? I'm kind of curious about what happened there. You know what I mean? Because I like people who have one foot on the ground. I know Kelly Clarkson, she's busy. It's Friday. I'm done with this. All right. Let's go. All right. Before we go, we got some sad news. Actor Alan Arkin has passed away. This is sad. His agent confirmed he died on Saturday in California. He was just 89 years old. Alan starred in films like The Catch-22 in 1970 and Glengarry Glen Ross with Al Pacino. He was also Winona Ryder's memorable dad in Edward Scissorhands, Sam's fave. But it was his role as the eccentric grandfather in Little Miss Sunshine that won him an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He was also nominated for 2 Emmys. Wow. So that's, I mean, you see that face. I mean, you know the name too, but when you see that face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention, but like the Kaminsky Method, that was one of those things I watched during when the pandemic first hit. I caught up on that series, and it really was kind of like almost like in real time what was going on with his career, kind of like the end of show business. And I thought it was so well done. Alan Arkin is what I think we all want.
Right.
Is like that full arc of a career, and to be able to sit back and at the end with Little Miss Sunshine just grab that award. So shout out to him. What a career,
talented.
what a life.
I know. Gosh, 89 seems like a life well lived, but as we get older, it seems younger and younger, and that's what's alarming.
It does.
All right, guys, coming up on DBL, our interview with TV host Sarah Haynes. She's telling us all about her new game show, The Chase, and why did Idris Elba lose interest in the idea of playing James Bond? I'm kind of curious myself.
Me too.
Erica's going to explain in her segment what Erica's watching.
DBL. This show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point.
But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Erica was talking about how, the younger generation is all about, skin and taking care of your face. And, my daughter, actually, the person was just right next to me, Ty, he gave my daughter a facial yesterday. She's been to the face shop twice, Cherry Creek Mall, 16.
Yeah.
That's all they focus on. No, she bought a pair of sweatpants yesterday, but other than that, it's all facial
Is
products.
any of it, do you think, like when chiropractors say, all right, I'm going to fix your back, but you got to come in once a week now?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I'm done with it.
Right, so do you think cosmetics is like, hey, you could prevent wrinkles, which you can't because you're going to get older. Well, Erica can't, but no one else can. And it's like, I understand there's preventative methods, but it's not going to stop it ultimately.
No, it's not going to stop it, but I think like the example that I used with the Botox was it appeared that this would be the time that I would start getting Botox. But the line was so fine that because I was going to someone who understood my skin and everything that was happening in that moment, she was like, let me just try this laser. And after 2 laser treatments, and it was a laser genesis, which plumps your skin, it was gone and it hasn't come back. So eventually it will come back, but I also go, I'm like more of a monthly person. But when I first started, I would go like every 2 months and then do a specific thing. And then as I got a little older and I needed some other things done, I started going once a month. I mean, some people can go, like your daughter could go potentially for those types of procedures 4 times a year, 2 times a year. For some people, once a year. But you got to do the homework at home. That's why you should get my bundle. Welcome back. Erykah Badu tells fans to have a window seat. Idris Elba shared why he's not down with 007. And Keisha Cole lands the role of a lifetime in this week's What Erykah's Watching. First, Erykah Badu has been known to make some fans wait a while before she hits the stage. But when it's all said and done, it's usually worth it. And I know because I just saw her a couple days ago, and she was on time. However, she lost her cool during her Unfollow Me tour and called out a handful of fans for leaving early.
Hold on. Where y'all going? Excuse me.
I wonder if they were just trying to call Tyrone. You already know she's an artist and she's sensitive about her. The world was ready for a Black James Bond when rumors started to swirl that Idris Elba was in talks for the role. But because the buzz became only about the new Bond being Black, it sparked controversy. And Idris confirmed that's why he turned down the game-changing role. He said the whole thing became disgusting and off-putting, and that he was getting the brunt of the negative comments. Well, the folks behind the sequel have yet to fill the role, but this means there's still time for Idris to reconsider and shut down all the haters, because that is how it's done. And finally, Keisha Cole is sharing more of her story. As a Grammy-nominated R&B diva, she first found success by singing backup for MC Hammer, followed by hit songs and her own reality show featuring her unforgettable mama and their family drama. And now she's starring in her own Lifetime movie.
After my mom passed, I wanted to do something to show my love. There was so many different emotions. As a woman, we got to be strong. I've always wanted to do a movie about my life.
Share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLErykahWatch. We'll be right back.
In cases involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina, the Supreme Court struck down race-based affirmative action in college admissions, ending a nearly 60-year history of using race as a factor in creating more diverse student bodies. The court ultimately decided that the admissions processes at both schools are unconstitutional. In the court's majority opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts said that for too long, university admissions boards have relied too heavily on a person's race over their skills and the challenges they've overcome in determining who to admit. So let's verify. Are colleges now required to ignore all references to race in the admissions process? Our sources are Students for Fair Admissions, Inc. versus President and Fellows of Harvard College, Students for Fair Admissions, Inc. versus University of North Carolina, and Ben Barton, a distinguished professor of law at the University of Tennessee College of Law. The court's decision prohibits colleges and universities from using race as a determining factor in their admissions process. But in the court's ruling, Chief Justice John Roberts also says nothing in this opinion should be construed as prohibiting universities from considering an applicant's discussion of how race affected his or her life, be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise. Which is confusing. Can race be discussed or not? So we called up constitutional law expert Ben Barton. He says Roberts' opinion means that schools aren't completely banned from considering race, but it puts the burden on the applicants.
If a student wants to write an essay about how they've suffered from racial discrimination and how they've grown from that, they're allowed to do that, and the university is allowed to read that, and the university is allowed to say, well, that seems like a good reason to let this person into the university.
So we can verify, no. The Supreme Court ruling does not require colleges to ignore all references to race in college admissions. It still allows colleges to consider race if it is brought up by an applicant as part of a personal experience. like a personal essay. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Welcome back. She's a hostess with the mostest at ABC as a co-host on The View and host of the game show The Chase. Earlier, we chatted with Sarah about the newest season of the trivia game show. Check it out. Welcome to the show, Sarah Haynes.
Yes.
Hi. Sarah, we were just talking about Kim Cattrall's demands to return, and just like that, what would you negotiate into your contract for The View if you could?
Oh my goodness. I think a 3-day weekend would be nice. Yes. I mean, we do that in the summers, and I think the quality of life when you have 3 days really is life-changing. I don't want anyone from Disney or ABC to know this, but there's not much more. I mean, you can always add zeros, but beyond that, I think I've got a pretty good gig.
Yeah, you do. And you do it well.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
That 3-day weekend, everybody's light bulb is like,
everyone's like, what? 3-day weekend? Sarah Haynes 2024?
All right, Sarah, you must learn so much hosting The Chase. So has trivia knowledge become part of your new party trick?
It actually has, and I think it's less about the base of knowledge and more how to play the game. The Chasers have taught me you don't have to always know the answer to get to the right answer. So I won Trivia Pursuit in my family, the OGs, not the family I created. It's easy to beat a 3-year-old. But I mean, I won with my family for the first time after being a host.
Wow.
That's a big deal.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
All right, so let's see your style, because if you were to be a contestant on The Chase, who would you pick as your team member out of The View co-hosts?
Oh my gosh, out of The View co-host?
Yep.
Well, you have to go Whoopi. I mean, she's like a wealth of wisdom. I would maybe say Joy, but sometimes she's like really close to the right answer, but like also so far away, like in the reference.
That's Sam. That's our Sam.
Sarah, that's me.
Sam's what her saying. We know what she's saying, but it's not the right words.
Yeah.
Yeah, you catch
just,
two
like,
birds
right
with one
there,
grape.
and you're
We're
like,
like, no, but yeah, we got it.
If you got partial credit, Joy would be a huge add to my team.
Yeah.
Partially.
But as long, that's what happens with the camaraderie. After a while, you figure out what they were trying to say. That's why we love you. All right.
Yeah.
So we got to get to it. What's your relationship behind the scenes with these top quizzers and trivia experts like Ken Jennings and James Holzhauser? Is that like intimidating? What's that like?
So when I met them all, I was fully ready to be intimidated because I have always thought smart, intelligent people. I always admired them. And so I came into this feeling kind of humble, like this is their trivia world. They were some of the coolest guys to hang out with. They had every opportunity to make me feel like I was the one that didn't belong. And they're much better at sparring with each other and, leaving me alone, but teasing me just enough that I feel like I'm part of the crew.
That's how I'm with Sam.
Yeah. Teases me nonstop. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. DBL Nation,
so great.
You can watch the new season of The Chase on ABC. Congratulations, Sarah. We'll be right back. Thanks, Sarah.
Summer is the perfect season to grill or have a cookout. But could your meal also include a side of salmonella or other bacteria? We verify 5 ways to have a healthy picnic using these sources. Let's start with the prep work. Before making the food, start with a clean slate. Our sources say the first line of defense is to wash your hands and surfaces. Next, make sure to separate cutting boards, plates, and utensils for raw meats to avoid cross-contamination. Third, make sure to cook meats to a safe temperature. This is between 145 and 165 degrees, depending on what you're eating. Now that the food is properly cooked, it's time to dig in, but watch the clock. Bacteria multiplies quickly when food is left at room temperature, so either use warmers, put it in the fridge, or eat it fast. Finally, we all love chips and dip, but don't be a double dipper. You could spread germs and bacteria, which could make someone sick. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Julia says we need to see our Jeff doing some exercises.
I'll also some yoga for you.
Yeah.
Real fast, watch this.
Can you do this? Oh my God.
The Supreme Court has banned universities from admitting students based on race. The decision prompted outcry from critics who say it'll hurt colleges' ability to maintain a diverse student body. And they argue the court is allowing a practice that harms diversity to continue, legacy admissions. That's when a school gives a student a boost in the admissions process because their family members went to that same school. Studies have shown that at many elite schools like Harvard, legacy students are overwhelmingly white. So let's verify. Did the Supreme Court allow legacy university admissions to continue? Our sources are the majority ruling written by Chief Justice John Roberts and Ben Barton, a law professor at the University of Tennessee, who has also served on the school's admissions board. The answer is yes. The ruling allows legacy admissions to continue. The ruling dealt only with the practice of giving preference to applicants based solely on their race. And while legacy admissions have racial implications, they aren't solely about race.
Those may statistically result in racial bias. You can figure out which one it is. But that is not based on race, and so that would be fine. And it's the same thing with poverty. You're allowed to take first-generation students or poverty into account.
The ruling, in fact, explicitly left room for factors adjacent to race to be considered, saying, for instance, a student could write an essay about overcoming racial barriers as long as the consideration was based on their actions, not just race. So now, race-based admissions practices have been deemed unconstitutional, but other preferences, such as economic status, where the student is from, and legacy status, are still allowed. But those two could eventually be called into question, and President Biden himself suggested legacy admissions should be.
Today, I'm directing the Department of Education to analyze what practices help build a more inclusive and diverse student bodies and what practices hold that back. Practices like legacy admissions and other systems that expand privilege instead of opportunity.
With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. One more quick story. Singer Pink was given another unusual gift while she was on stage. A fan handed her a giant wheel of cheese during one of her shows. Pink, as you can see, looked a little confused with the giant wheel of brie. And you remember, she got handed someone's mother's ashes earlier this week.
Yes, I don't think that's that strange, Jeff. I handed you cheese earlier this week.
So Erica gave me a piece of cheese yesterday, like wrapped cheese, like this is really good cheese. So before I left, Lawson was like, hey, I need to put a couple things on the list. I go, I'm gonna put crackers on the list because Erica gave me some cheese. So I'm going right after this to get crackers and I'm gonna crush that cheese.
What's so special about this cheese?
I went to its cheese specialty shop and he said that there were only 3 places in the entire country that have this cheese. So I was getting some and I was like, he gave me a taste and I was like, wrap some up for my boy too. I'm gonna bring it to Jeff.
And it's in my fridge ready to go. And I'm just gonna, after this, I'm gonna go get some crackers and crush that cheese. And I'm gonna send you a picture.
It's amazing. It's amazing cheese.
But what about your other coat? We like cheese.
But Jeff is the cheese head.
And you got gummies. You got gummies.
I did get some gummy bears.
Yeah.
So I need to be.
Yeah, if it was Sam, I would have gotten a buttery shard.
Ooh, quickly, weirdest thing that was thrown on stage.
Peanut M&Ms. I'll explain.
Wow. Around the horn with 5 seconds left. We'll see you after the vacation.